My name is Fin Donnelly. I'm the NDP candidate for Port Moody Burquitlam. I've been the Member of Parliament for the past 6 years, serving as the NDP Fisheries and Oceans critic and the Deputy Infrastructure critic. I've also served on Burquitlam City Council for 6 years. I twice swam the length of the Fraser River, 1,400 kilometers, to draw attention to that river's health issues. Also, I went to school here at Banting. See my picture on the wall there. And I've lived in the Tri-City area for 45 years. I've knocked on thousands of doors. And I've heard that people want their federal government to make life more affordable. An NDP government will make life more affordable for Tri-City families. We'll bring in $15 a day childcare and affordable housing. We'll improve health care, home care, and pharmacare. We'll help our small businesses by reducing the tax rate from 11 to 9%, and we'll invest in manufacturing. We'll support our seniors. We'll help our seniors by reducing the retirement age back to 65, investing in CPP, OAP, and GIS. And we'll support our cities by investing in infrastructure and transit. On October 19th, I ask you to vote for the change you want. Vote for a caring, compassionate, and progressive government. Vote Fin Donnelly and the NDP. Thank you very much.
Speak over like an ice cream cone. We've set them up so you don't need to kiss them like it's your spouse. Okay? And please, everyone, I'm going to ask for this next section. Please. No applause, no boos. Just let everybody get through it. If you want to wait, if you feel the need to applause, please wait till all 5 have had the answer so we can get through this pretty quick. So I'm going to start with the questions. If it says somebody's name particularly, I will start with you. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going in rotation and I'll kind of rotate it as we go along. So Tim, I'm going to start with you. In 2006, the counter-terrorism forces in Canada arrested some men, the 18 men in Toronto, on terrorism charge dubbed the Toronto 18. These convicted were achieved under legislation that preceded Bill 51. If such serious convictions would be achieved under the legislation that preceded Bill C-51, why do we need Bill C-51? No, you might have to pass down that other one.
How's that? So the question here is about terrorism. Started with the opening about the 18 charged in 2006 for planning a terrorist attack here in Canada. Obviously, this is something I know quite a bit about, having served with Canadian forces, having been on the front lines in Afghanistan. I know the realities that exist around the world. And coming back to Canada, I worked with the Vancouver Police Department as a civilian doing victim services, so I saw the impacts on victims of crime. The question specifically about Bill C-51, though, there's been a lot of misinformation unfortunately spread on this bill because what it was brought to the government that there was more support needed to help keep Canadians safe. Primarily, they need to share information between government departments. What I can say is that the Conservatives have taken the recommendation from the security forces we have here in Canada, keeping us safe, taken them seriously. The Liberals have taken a look at this bill and agreed with us that the provisions under it are necessary. And there's one big thing I want to say about it that is a common miscommunication about Bill C-51. Many people feel that it's going to be used to not just target terrorists, but to target dissenters or protesters. That is not the case. They have been specifically named as they cannot be targeted with this power. It's only for terrorists to keep Canadians safe.
Right from the beginning, our party denounced Bill C-51 as terrorist legislation, as anti-democratic police state legislation. We gave the call for mass actions, which people took up. And while the media claimed that there was support and so on, we saw within a very short time that tide turned and more people opposed this bill. We organized numerous demonstrations, rallies, pickets, and so on. And at each of these pickets that we had at SkyTrain stations in the Lower Mainland, more and more people came forward to sign our petitions and to congratulate us for this. I took part in three mass demonstrations of thousands of people in downtown Vancouver, and we are working still to have this bill repealed. Last week I participated in a picket at one of the SkyTrain stations, and we will continue, no matter what the outcome of this election, we will continue to oppose any kind of anti-democratic police state type legislation.
Bit of a disadvantage being sort of in the middle. So, the Liberals did support Bill C-51, but it wasn't the original Bill C-51 that was drafted. It was an amended Bill C-51. Part of the challenge we have in our current government is these omnibus bills, where they stick a whole bunch of stuff into these large bills that you can't make sense of. It's true that we're dealing with a terror threat that's homegrown, and therefore we need to protect Canadians. Sadly, leadership's job is to unite us all. And in this case, what they've done is divided us. The Bill C-51 text that was originally presented, which did have no provisions to protect the right to protest, the Liberals put forward 4 amendments that were eventually put through, and that's the reason why we voted for it. But there are still problems. There's too much ministerial power. There's no parliamentary oversight. If I go to Ottawa, I've heard loud and clear from the people that we need to fix it, and I'm confident that Justin Trudeau and I and the team that he's assembled will fix those parts of the bill, because we need to make sure that we balance our liberties in this country with also the need to protect society, and that's what the Prime Minister's job is to do.
Thank you very much. So I feel C-52 needs to be repealed. There's no need that, okay, perfect, good. That 13 different agencies actually can freely share your information. That is a great vision of your privacy. I have a big problem that's a blank check to actually snoop on everyone on you, and it puts the general public under general suspicion of crime. I would go even a step further. Canada is a member of the Five Eyes. And of course, every information that is being collected everywhere about you can be freely shared. And you have no idea how it's going to be used, and you have absolutely no idea how it's going to be protected. So, what's out there and out there is free for grabs. And I feel the government is doing something I would expect to happen in lesser democratic countries, but not in Canada.
I think the question demonstrates clearly that CSIS and the RCMP have already enough powers to protect us from terrorism. So that I think is a clear, and I think that's the point of the question. We also have now with C-51 that has just come in, top security experts, judges, even former prime ministers who've opposed C-51. They think the powers given to CSIS and the RCMP now are too broad and go too far into your encroaching on your basic fundamental rights. Tom Mulcair and the NDP showed leadership from the beginning, stood up against this opportunism and said, no, the right thing is to protect you and your basic rights. Even in the face of it, it was 80% people were wanting action on terrorism at the time. That pendulum swung right around the other way when C-51 came in, and the powers that were given away, people were absolutely outraged, and they have the right to be outraged in terms of what the powers now give government to oversee what's happening with you as an individual and with other organizations. Those powers can be very used in the United States. You've seen what's happened down there with Big Brother looking into your daily lives. It's a big concern. With Tom Mulcair and the NDP, we will stand up against those kinds of things.
We're going to start the next question with Brian. You're going to take us out of the gate. If a proposal is made by your party which goes against the interests of this riding, will you vote against it?
First of all, I'm going to get elected. So it's difficult to answer that question. I think that representatives should actually represent their constituents and not simply represent the party. The problem is just that when a member of parliament or the legislature is elected, they become the representatives of the party, not the people that voted for them. That's why we need a new electoral process to change that situation, to empower the people so that the people are decision makers. Of course, we still allow representation, but we need a new way of choosing our representative, of putting forward people from our ranks that are outstanding citizens who have made a big contribution to the life of their community. I'm not saying that these people haven't.
So part of what I do professionally is I help governments right now connect with the public, and I help them use technology and tools to understand what it is that society wants. I've been working for the City of Vancouver for the last 2 years on this. Part of my decision to run for the Liberal Party is attached to the fact that Justin Trudeau has a plan for overhauling the electoral system. He's indicated that we as MPs are going to have the freedom and the empowerment to have more free voting. And what that means is that if there's a matter of serious concern that is a priority for the community, I will have no problem championing that when I go to Ottawa. I will also make sure, and the Liberal Party platform actually that's available online also supports this, is that we'll use new technologies to ensure that sentiment is gauged and that we use that to inform the discussion that's happening in Parliament. So I feel every confidence that in 2015 we'll be able to create a reformed Parliament that actually works for people and it works for communities, and MPs to go back to being the bridge between the community and Parliament.
So if I were elected, I also would hope that I would have a parliament that is given enough time to actually read through the bills and suggestions brought forward, which should also enable every representative to consult with his or her constituency. Now, that means the representative is there for the people, not for the party. And as I said in my introduction, I'm very proud to be a member of a party that does not whip its members by their political leadership, but actually works for the interests of its or her constituency. So therefore, yes, I would be making my decision in consultation with our rank.
When we're campaigning for